This is the best type of story, and specifically now just after the Mexican Grand Prix, with Lando taking the lead in 2025. It's pretty special, and yes, there's going to be a more detailed rundown of Studio 2.0, the motion systems, the wall of joysticks, the adjoining workshop, how we keep it cool in the summer, and how we heat it in the winter. But today, we're going to show off and basically pay tribute to a bold plan that took over 10 days. A little bit of backstory. Before I retired, I was an armored crewman and then I became a geospatial engineer. The trade is geotech and we survey, capture, collect, condition, produce, and distribute. Products I made could be in your GPS, any type of products that would help you show others where they needed to go, how to get there, where the threats are, or where things could be built. It was satisfying work with great people that surrounded me. One of those people was Jordan, and as we fast forward a bunch, he and I have now retired, but we remain in touch due to a mutual love of sim racing. Fast forward even more, and he had found true love, proposed, and got married. Jordan and Missy invited my wife and I to be at their wedding, and I offered to photograph the day for them. I thought that was a very simple transaction, but Missy had other plans. To repay and say thank you for the photography, she insisted that a mural needed to be commissioned at the new house within Studio 2.0. My wife and I spent over a year designing and having a house built. We put it all on the line with the goal of creating not just a space that we needed, but the space that would allow us to expand and to grow. Our new house has the space that she needed to run her apiary and school, and Studio 1.0, which was in the basement of our last house, basically got a big upgrade. Big ceilings, big walls, and that meant big spaces for bigger murals. So Missy had done epic work like this in the past, and the thing that I remembered the most was a combination of a clip art style, but feathering and shading, and this unique result had you looking at the wall thinking that it might be a photo in real places, but that it's clearly not a photo. As a big fan of the style, of course I wasn't going to pass up this gift and opportunity. Missy had a basic concept of a painted hole punching through a wall with items that best represented what the studio was all about, and of course there would be a massive noobifier logo. So earlier on day one, I measured and marked the center of the wall, and then with a laptop and a projector, she marked and scribed the outline of the wall punch in pencil. We had discussed the 4 things that would be around the edges, so the top left would be a Cessna, which was important for several reasons. It's the usual starting place for people who want to learn how to fly, and also more special because of a job that Kyle and I had done in Loveland, Colorado. And that sim install was designed to specifically recreate this plane. Top right is an F-18, something that many sim pilots fly in DCS. You invest hundreds of hours building and learning all of the systems and then go toe-to-toe with others. And the one on the wall is specifically a CF-18 from the Canadian Air Force with its unique markings and the painted canopy below the pilot. Before she retired, my wife served for 22 years in the Canadian Air Force, so the CF-18 is even more personal to the both of us. The lower right is of course a modern McLaren F1 car in Lando's markings. Racing has F1 at the top, with the quote being that if you win at F1 for that day, you are the best driver in the world. Racing sim has a huge range with rally, road racing, but LMP and F1 are unique as those cars are always more capable than even the best drivers. So it takes a superhuman to drive these cars, and even then, experience since the early ages of 4 or 5 years old. You're born a racer, but then you spend your entire life racing. I grew up with Mansell, Prost, Senna as my F1 gods, and then later it was Schumacher, Hamilton, Verstappen, and lately Lando has finally made a big push. With Senna, it was mostly McLaren, and we saw that iconic white and orange paint between 1980 and 1996. So based on my love for the past and future of McLaren, Lando is my guy, and that car needed to be on the wall. The last car is funny because it's the actual car that I drive in ACC. Not just a GT3 Porsche, but I'd taken the time to design my own paint scheme, which we were able to take out of the game and put on the wall. With those selected, she adjusted the projector to scale and the angle that we wanted for the mural. Each were scribed out on the wall in pencil, just faint enough to be seen. But because of that, it was actually very difficult to get a good idea of what the final product would look like. Missy kept saying, "Trust me," and as more and more work was done, the layers of paint resulted in a more complete mural. Some of the things that I thought looked great and were done got even more details like weathering and rivets on the wing surface. The F1 car by itself took several days as there was not only so much detail, but these details required several layers of color, and then all of that would need to be detailed. A normal person would paint the wheel just black and leave it like that, but Missy spent time to shade dark gray in places based on the lighting to make the tires look three-dimensional. This was carried to all parts of the mural. And like I said, she would spend a day here, and after she left, I would take a good look at the progress, but then when she returned, mysteriously even more detail ended up being added. I have days of time-lapse footage, but I cannot express the passage of time and the love on display on this wall. I wanted to highlight some final details that were very special. The CF-18 has its characteristic underpainted canopy, and if you look very closely, the pilot silhouette is pretty funny. Pause the video if you need to, and then comment in the comments with your comments, who do you think is flying the jet? The GT3 and Cessna have been treated to shaded metallic paint so that when you walk around, the light changes just like it would be on the glass, and all you need to do is look at the complexity in the headlight of the Porsche to see where all of the days were spent. Because the Mural is such a cornerstone of the studio, I researched and installed a point source accent light. The light is intended to be on 24/7 so that the Mural is always lit. We often like to run crazy RGB lighting in this room, and the point of the light is meant to ensure that it's always seen and lit in the colors that are intended. And that's it. A super addition to a super room. If you're in the market to commission your own mural, you should reach out to Missy or Jordan directly with the info that's in the description. Thank you very much for spending your time with me. Stay tuned for a proper full rundown of Studio 2.0 and the final installment of the house build. We've been waiting to publish that last video because throughout the summer, more and more polish have been done, and it just didn't feel like the right time to unveil it or show it off to you. But that time is becoming now. Fly safe, and I'll see you in the verse.